You're stressed, I'm stressed,
I'm
all
stressed.
parents, right? Experience some level of stress. I think it's impossible not to. We want to talk about this today because it might be taking a bigger toll on you than you're even realizing. In fact, the U.S. Surgeon General issued an advisory on this, calling parental stress a significant public health issue.
Wow, I feel like I have a diagnosis.
Have you been seen?
Yes,
That's how I feel.
I feel seen. So to talk more about this and what we as parents can do to mitigate the stress, 9 News medical expert Dr. Pio Coley joining us. So first of all, Dr. Coley, tell us about this warning.
I mean, it's crazy. Just as you guys have said, for so many decades now, parents have been internalizing the stress. The Surgeon General finally put a stamp on it. And it's not just parents, mind you, it's also grandparents. So when we think about all the things that make us stressed as parents or grandparents, we're dealing in a different era now than we ever did before. Of course, we still have to worry about how our kids are going to grow up, whether they're going to be good people, but we have financial constraints like never before. Raising kids is much more expensive. We have social media, which we didn't have to deal with 3 or 4 decades ago. My parents didn't have to deal with, our parents didn't have to deal with, and we have guns in schools. So all of these issues added with the pandemic and all the substance use problems we're seeing has just made it really hard for parents. I mean, how do you guys feel you're coping as parents, juggling work and family life and everything else?
Not always great, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot. And especially, I think, Sam and I, like, when you're so ambitious and you want to work so hard for your kids, but then that takes you away from your kids, like, it is such a balancing act at all times.
And I feel like me too, and I feel like I'm floundering, right? Like, I'm swimming upstream, and for me, I'm worried, is my stress going to affect my children? Because I want to be regulated around them.
I'm so glad you said that, Sam, because that insight is so important, because science has shown us over and over again, parental stress has so many effects, not just on a child's emotional well-being, but also on their social behavior, how they perform in school. So we know that parents that are stressed are more likely to have kids that are anxious. They're more likely to have kids that can't regulate their emotions because they kind of watch what their parents do and they feel like they can't regulate. They're more likely to act out. They're more likely to lack focus. They're even more likely to have substance use problems if they're older kids. So being aware of your own stress and how it's penetrating into your child's life, I think it's the first step. And that's what this warning has really done, is made us think about this.
And there's so many factors, because when you mention social media, I think one of the first things the mind goes to our kids, but it affects us too, because you want to be like the perfect mom, and the thing on Instagram has to look good. And how do you not allow the outside pressures and the noise kind of filter in? Is my kid where they need to be? Am I doing a good enough job? Like,
So there's parent
it affects you.
Oh yeah.
Yes, this comparison culture that we exist in doesn't just exist for our kids. It's not just the kids trying to keep up, it's the parents too. And to your point, Alex, all the other moms are doing better than me. I'm a failure. We develop this imposter syndrome for ourselves. So I think the first step is really recognizing it. The second is really trying to address the things that are causing that. So if you're going on social media, it's actually maladaptive. Do not feel that you have to post all the pictures like all the other moms do. Take them for yourself, but don't feel you have to have the perfect filter, the perfect first day outfit, the perfect what have you. And I say the same for grandparents. Don't feel like you have to be the best grandparent ever.
I'm so glad you're saying this, because when my kids just started school, everybody has those little signs. I didn't have one of those signs. Like, the parents out there know, like, the kids, it's like, Sophie starting 2nd grade, her favorite food is mac and cheese. And I didn't have that. And I was like, well, we're still going to take a picture.
Yes.
But it was still an amazing moment. So I want the first step to be insight, recognition. The second step to be boundaries. We have to set boundaries for ourselves and for our kids, because we're doing it not just so we can make this sustainable, but also because parenting now is harder than it's ever been. And the third step, and this is what the warning is hopefully going to do, is resources. So
there you go.
You are buried.
Thank you.
You ask for help. You ask your doctor.
So easier said than done, though.
That's part of that recognition. It's sort of saying that it's okay to ask for help. Raise your hand and say, I need help.
Right. It takes a village. It really does. Oh my gosh. Wow.
Dr. Coley, thank you. I feel like I want to bring you on and we can talk more about this, because we're just like scratching the surface.
Yep.
It sounds good. We need the help.
We're going to check in on you ladies again.
Please do. Please do.
Yes, we need it.
Dr. Coley, thank you as always.